Hi everyone, my name is Jenna Campanatico.
And I'm Aubrey Saharia. Thank you for visiting our poster. Did you know that reading comprehension can be a good predictor for performance in the classroom regardless of the subject? Current research on cognitive differences between readers' different skill levels has identified two important constituents for reading ability. These are metacomprehension and working memory capacity. The first constituent, working memory capacity, refers to a person's ability to hold and manipulate information. Research has shown that readers with more working memory capacity are better able to focus on the task at hand and manipulate more information at one time. And this leads to better comprehension compared to readers with less working memory capacity. The second constituent, metacomprehension, is a component of metacognition, and it refers to a person's ability to judge their own comprehension of a text. Metacomprehension is found to be positively and highly correlated with reading comprehension, and so readers at a higher skill level tend to have higher levels of metacomprehension. Now, comprehension may also vary with text type as opposed to just reading skill level. For example, narrative texts have been found to be easier to comprehend compared to expository texts, which tend to have more in-depth information and require more cognitive resources for comprehension. This means that different reading comprehension tests might predict reading comprehension differently depending on text type. For example, the Nelson-Denny Reading Test has been found to be the better predictor for narrative text, whereas the Multimedia Comprehension Battery, or MMCB, has been found to be the better predictor for expository texts. And these differences can be found even when accounting for reading skill. As of the present, there is really little research comparing multiple tests and how these tests and their performance interact with text type. Thus, we believe that by integrating a third test, we might be able to determine the best practices for testing narrative and expository texts. So for this study, we've split it into two experiments. In our first experiment, we aimed to find correlations between three common reading tests. This is the Nelson-Denny, the MMCB, and the MacGinitie Reading Test. And we also wanted to see if there was any correlations between the tests and a working memory task and a metacognitive questionnaire. For experiment 2, we aimed to predict performance for both expository and narrative texts, and we wanted to see which tests would be best suited for each type of text. So for experiment 1, we had 77 undergraduates participate in a 2-hour study in which they would randomly take 3 reading tests. So this is the Nelson-Denny, the MacGinitie, and the MMCB. And this was to gauge the reading comprehension ability. They would also complete a reading span test from the Psychology Experiment Building Language, or PEBBL for short, to gauge their working memory capacity. And they would also take the Metacomprehension Strategies Index, or MSI, for their metacognitive awareness level. To complete experiment 1, they would complete a demographic questionnaire. For experiment 2, we had 307 undergraduates complete a 1-hour study where they would read both a narrative and an expository text and answer comprehension questions based on what they read. They would also randomly take one of 3 reading comprehension tests for the reading comprehension ability, and they would complete a demographic questionnaire at the end.
All right, so the results of experiment 1, shown in table 1, revealed significant correlations among all 3 of the reading comprehension tests, which confirms that the measures assess the same skill set. We also observed that all 3 reading tests were significantly correlated with working memory capacity, and this is important because previous research has shown that working memory is an important predictor of reading comprehension success. We also found that metacomprehension is significantly correlated with the Nelson-Denny and the MacGinitie, but not the MMCB. However, as we continue with data collection, we hope to see a significant correlation between metacomprehension and the MMCB as well. The preliminary results of experiment 2 showed that all 3 reading comprehension tests significantly predicted performance on both narrative and expository text. The results presented in this study are parallel to the findings from McDaniel, Hines, and Guyon, in that the Nelson-Denny was a significant predictor of performance on narrative text comprehension, and the MMCB was a significant predictor of expository text comprehension. The current results expanded on these findings by showing that the MacGinitie was also a significant predictor of either narrative or expository text comprehension. Although all 3 reading tests significantly predicted performance on either narrative and expository text, further analysis of the current data set and follow-up studies will allow us to make more inferences about which tests are best suited for the different text types and inform research and educators about which tests would be best suited for taking the different cognitive factors that contribute to comprehension into account, which we talked about, working memory or metacomprehension. Okay, Thank you so much for tuning into our poster. If you have any questions, Aubrey and I will be at our poster in the chat box on June 17th, or you can reach out to us by email, which should be on our poster as well. Thank you again.
Thank you.